there now. We're so in there now. Okay, Vow of Pain. Omen, go. I'm just kidding. Anyways, thank you, Omen. Banger. Actually, banger. Vow of Pain, bad, huge. Okay. Vow of Pain, it's actually like pretty difficult. Turns out giving enemies 100% damage probably isn't a good thing to do. I think this is definitely one of the harder vows in the game because of that. Turn it on later. Hard difficulty vow. At the end of this too, I'll give some presets for like 8, 16, 24, 32 fear, and we can talk about how we feel about the presets. We can do like new player presets if you just want to get like some statues done, and we can do like presets that will help you grow as a high fear gamer. The other thing about Pain, and it also relates to Grit, is they both affect bosses. So you're not only giving this to like enemies in rooms, but you're giving bosses 100% extra damage, which is terrifying when you think about the rivals bosses. It's difficult as a whole, but then when you pair it to rivals bosses, it's like super ultra difficult. Yeah, it's pretty scary. And like surface enemies just do a lot of base damage, and then you're like, what if I double it? So overall, can't recommend Vow of Pain. Very hard vow. Definitely one of the later vows I would recommend turning on. And the affecting all enemies is kind of a huge thing. Is there anything else? Any other points we feel about Vow of Pain? Oh man, this is where you type a good message and I take credit. Go. I'm teeing you up. Trusty shield good. Dude, this person's a genius. Holy moly. Holy moly. Hire him, John Supergiant. Holy moly. So real, so true, so based. +2. Absolutely immaculate. Yes, trusty shield. Yeah, Pain Frenzy. That's the other thing, is like we're trying to talk about vows in a vacuum, but a lot of these vows just have like combinations that make them worse. Like Pain is definitely one of them. Because if you have enemies from higher regions like Menace, Pain's gonna be worse. If you have more enemies, Pain's gonna be worse. If you have Fangs enemies, Pain's gonna be worse. If you have Frenzy enemies, Pain's gonna be worse. If you have Rivals bosses, Pain's gonna be worse. If you have the extra mini boss on in your shadow fights, Pain's gonna be worse. Alright. Vow of Grit. This one's not too bad. Once again, does affect bosses, which is probably its biggest issue. Outside of that, 30% HP will slow you down a bit, but once you get used to like building into Origination and having all the good global damages, it's not too bad. Yeah, super chill. Pretty decent vow. You can slap it on early and it'll probably teach you how to build properly to deal good damage as well. I like this one for beginners. I like it as a whole. Good to learn early, not too punishing. Enemies take longer to kill, which will make the rivals fights harder. But that just means you get more practice against the rivals bosses. So overall, relatively easy vow, especially in comparison to your other options. Me like. Yeah, like understanding the game better. It's like a turn this vow on to grow kind of thing. Can be rough with timer. True. But that also just stems into having to learn how to play and what to pick so that you don't get Grit timered out. I think Hordes is way more punishing with timer than Grit is and should be for you. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Wait, I like this. Everyone's just agreeing with me. This rules. Grit hard on aspects. That is true. Aspects that struggle in the early game will feel more punishing if you turn on things like Grit and once again Hordes. More so Hordes than Grit, in my opinion. Hordes and Grit kind of combo poorly because you're giving the encounters 60% more enemies and then they have 30% more HP. Besides that, I mean, everything just has a little bit more. It's a solid early game though. Wards. Wards can be nothing or a lot. Yeah, Grit is a core vow. That's a good way to describe it. I like that. Wards. It can be really bad on a slow hitting aspect until you get something that disables them, like Scorch or Hitch or Static Shock. But then there's other aspects that essentially just like destroy wards very well innately. So it feels like nothing. It's overall not too bad. It can teach you how to build around them. I don't mind it, but I also don't want to play with it on if I don't have to. It's more of an inconvenience. I would give this like an easy to medium. Dependent on what aspect you're running. Easy fear, but not fun. Yeah, and you have to kind of like fish for a wards clearing something. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. It's just kind of there. Frenzy. This is a big one.
By my birthright.
It makes enemies spawn faster, but it also makes them attack faster. This pairs poorly with the Vow of Rivals. That can be a big issue with this. I'd say turn it on relatively early. It's a lot of fear. You think Frenzy 1 is fine, but Frenzy 2 is so much worse. Interesting. Necessary fear. It is necessary for speedruns. You're going to have to get used to it for high fear. It is 6 fear, which is quite a bit. But yeah, it does get scary with Rivals. And then if you stack that with full pain, you're really in a world of hurt. I do think it's better to turn this on before pain. You want to get used to the enemy's full attack speed with low damage before you give them all the damage. I would call it a core Vow like Grit. I think that's a really good description of it. And if your goal is speedrunning or high fear progression, you're gonna need to get used to it. Any fear it's required because it does make the waves spawn in faster. And then high fear, honestly, it will help timer do that. But you're just gonna need it to push your fear. 6 is a lot. Feel like you need to go for movement boons if you have Frenzy 2. Movement definitely helps. Movement helps everything. Full Frenzy and Grit before you start stacking Pain, Fangs, and Hordes, yeah. It's a lot of fear. Yeah, I like to say turn Frenzy on early. Like if your goal is to push and learn high fear, 6 is a lot. Even for just grabbing statues, like the 6 is so much. Wards is only 2, Grit's only 3, Pain's only 3. You could have enemies with 100% damage and 30% HP. Or you could just have enemies with 40% attack speed. Plus you get them to spawn in faster. And it's big training wheels because you get to learn faster patterns. It'll make you really good at the game a lot faster as well. If your goal is just growth in the video game, it helps a ton. Because then you turn it off and you're like, whoa, I was playing on baby mode. You can definitely do 32 without Frenzy. It's just eventually you're going to have to turn it on if your goal is progression. Horde sucks. It's really bad with your timer. Also, 60% more foes just means you're going to be taking more damage. It's never really great. Surface enemies are terrifying, so 60% more surface enemies doesn't feel very good. It's only 3 fear. It matters a lot. The difference in hordes is kind of insane. Flash fry stonks. Okay, true. But yeah, horde's bad. That's the other thing. If you're going to turn on Grit, Hordes affects it, Pains affects Hordes, Frenzy affects Hordes. Menace is affected by Hordes. If you have Revenants on, you have to pick up more Revenants overall. Fangs enemies, Hordes. Hordes kind of just affects everything. You have to fight 60% more room enemies. It's terrifying. You get the bosses with less HP, you get the bosses with less time. Your runs are just going to take a lot longer. They're going to be a lot scarier. Oh yeah, Hordes affects Artemis, Nemesis, combats, trials. Everything. Hordes is fun to play on a fun run once you're comfortable with the game. But if you're starting out, it's some difficult fear to turn on. If your goal is climbing the charts. Hordes in a vacuum is fine. Yeah. Frenzy, Grit, Fangs, Pain, and Timer all make Hordes very scary. Very scory. Menace. I feel like Menace is fine. This Vow is pretty chill. It can be a bit spooky on the surface. You get some really bad combos. But 3 fear for just a 25% chance for the enemy to be from the next region isn't too bad. It's good to learn, too. Your rooms are going to play completely differently once you turn Menace on because of the enemies that can spawn. It's pretty free, but yeah, it can be a bit sketchy on the surface for sure. For sure. I think it's like really free in the underworld and then like sometimes free on the surface. Sometimes the rooms you get due to menace can be really scary. Now, if you don't have hordes on, it's even more free. It's just giving you way more chance to hit the menace. Return, a lot of people don't like the revenants and find it high maintenance. I think this is incredibly free fear and it gets you moving around the room more, which is really good. It keeps you from kind of just corner camping and teaching you how to flow around a room while dodging attacks and managing your revenants. I think it's actually free. I think they're really fun. Movement speed stonks, agreed. Can be bad for timer, but honestly, it's not too bad. Yeah. Return rules, it's fun to grab orbs. I agree. I actually really like revenants. It's not too bad on timer when you get used to it. Because when you're used to it, you should essentially be dropping little to no revenants, and you should be DPSing other targets while you're pathing to pick them up, and that's my entire point. It's kind of a good practice vow. Does get more annoying with hordes, because 60% more enemies means you have more chance to vow of return. Do agree with that. But yeah, it's a really good training wheels vow. Like, these are just good training wheels right here. I really like this 3-piece for training wheels. Hordes, like, eventually, maybe, but just turning this on is a really good starting setup to get better at the video game faster. Return eats your timer away. Yes, which is why you get used to it. Weapon dependent? How so? Return on Medea is free. Charon's a bit more troubling. I mean, Skull just has better base movement. I don't think Return is troubling on Charon. That just means you're playing Charon way too passive. Which comes back to my entire point of an incredible training wheel vow. I do understand your point. And at the lower, like when you're learning the video game, Charon's probably a great beginner aspect because you do just sit in a corner and go slam kaboom until the room's over. And that's exactly why Return teaches you not to do that. Don't like Frenzy on Charon. Yeah, it's hard to weave Charon slams when the enemies have 40% more attack speed. Once again, all culminates back to the idea of training wheels vows. Yep. The Vow of Fangs. You think the Vow of Fangs is fun? I do think that learning Fangs early is good. I also think it's a lot of fear. 5 is a lot for Fangs. I actually think 5 from Fangs is better than 6 from Frenzy. Fangs, Menace, and Shadow are the most fun. That's fair. I see that angle. I like Shadow. I don't dislike Fangs. I think Fangs is kind of nothing and fun and cool until you get like one specific combo. And then you're like, I hate this thing and I'm going to take a lot of damage to it. But you definitely do need time to learn all the combos and like what they do. So you can like look at an enemy, see that it has fangs, recognize it based on the symbol, and then like act appropriately as fast as possible. Fangs gives you excuses to go, well, that was unfair. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. There is sometimes where you go, wow, this sucks. Like the Shadow Vow. Sheepball's dodgeable. It can be hard to see if there's a lot of clutter on the screen. I will give you that. It's a little quiet. Shadow is horrendous. Shadow is my biggest grief for sure. It's just like, I can't see anything. What am I supposed to do? Invuln can kind of suck. You can play around it pretty well. Invuln would be fine if it was affected by cast. So you could just like use your cast to zone until they were the final enemy. The fact they just get to walk through your cast is insane. Super scary. Super scary. But good to learn. Relatively easy for like 90% of your run, and then you'll get like 1 or 2 bad combos and you're like, oh, I'm taking some damage here. And 5 fear is a lot of fear. It's another like training wheels vow. Everything is fine until I get a room full of vacuums. Yeah, that one kind of sucks too. A solid medium. Yeah, I guess 1 versus 2 as well. I kind of always just go 0 or 2. It's like all or nothing. Fangs does give as much as pain, which is insanity. Insanity. Scars. Scars is hard. I think you can go from 0 to 2 scars with relative ease because you can still play the exact same and think about it the exact same. You just get less healing. Nergal stonks. True. Thank you, Omen. Trusty Shield good, Flash Fry good, Nergal good. That's the Omen checklist. That's what we got so far.
I swear it.
Kind of fire. Yeah, Scars 2 is just like, cool, all my healing and everything I path towards and everything I think about to get my health back is good. And then Scars 3 is just like, I have to change how I play completely. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, spooky. Scars 2 is super easy. Scars 3 is pretty difficult. I would go like easy versus hard, I would say. But this, to learn how to play the game with less healing and to almost feel like you get punished for being hit versus just being able to like make up for any of your mistakes on Zero Scars, is another vow you should probably turn on pretty early just to be used to it. Yeah, Scars 3 is just a different video game. Scars 3 is super difficult. Turn that on later. That's up there with like Hordes and Pain for me. Wards is not up there with Hordes, Pain, or Scars 3. I just think it's annoying and boring. But I would definitely turn Wards on before Pain or Scars 3 or Hordes, right? This is like a medium. These are all hards. Wards is just boring too. Yeah, that's annoying. That's not a bad vow. It's actually pretty free, especially if you're trying to climb fear, but like buying less boons is just not fun. I see that for sure. Vow Dead is pretty simple though. 80% more expensive to fear. Yippee, let's go. Yeah, super annoying. You get less boons. You have to know the different debt prices, but it's also easy. It's just like, cool, I go minus like 1 or 2 boon across a run realistically. I have to think about getting gold bonuses more. Boatman helps. Gold from Chaos. Timepiece, Fate's Whim really helps counteract debt, which is nice too. That being added to the game is a huge benefit. A huge benefit. You should, if you're playing High Fear, you should probably start Jeweled Palm and then go into Timepiece. If you don't have it unlocked, go unlock it and thank me later. Artificer's nice too. That's true, but it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. I'd say I would turn like all this on. I just turned Wards on. Wards is pretty chill. That's about it. Yeah, just quality of life. Sure. Agree. Shadow's cool. Shadow is for Underworld speedruns. It's only for the Shadow Spiller mini boss in Erebus. That is true. It's 2 fear and it only affects your mini bosses. It's good to learn the difference of the mini bosses from shadow variants to non-shadow variants. There's also that. 2 fear just for a bit more difficult mini boss fight is pretty solid. The shadows aren't too bad until they're really bad. Like, I think the spawn shadow is really scary, and I think the Draken shadow is really scary. The Satyr City shadow is also super scary. Yup. Okay, huge. We got them all. Yeah, that's crazy. But outside of those 3, I think Talus shadow is actually fine. Oh, Boar is a bit sketchy, yeah. If you actually take your time, I think Boar is fine too. I think my biggest issue with Shadow Boar is I'm just like, oh, I'm just going to rush down the real Boar. Like, if I actually wasn't trolling in the Boar fights, like, you just kill the shadows first. And you let them do the stupid attack where they just run into a wall and fall over. Tail shadows can be annoying. Phantom shadow, that's true. But that just does pressure you. Like, you can just cast it. Can skip them. It's true. Probably don't want to though. You should just learn them. You should just learn them. It's a bit more difficult. It's 2 fear. It's definitely worth it to take. Serb goes woof. But yeah, Shadow pretty easy. It's not too bad. Get used to the fights. Training Wheels vow. I would turn it on pretty early. Out of all these, I think Frenzy is the hardest. Fangs is chill. Wards is chill. Return is chill. Menace is chill. Grit is chill. Scars 2 is chill. Dead is chill. Shadow is chill. Frenzy is easier than Pain and Hordes and Scars 3. But I think it's also harder than like everything on this list. Forfeit. The vow of forfeit. It's 3 fear, but it's actually really bad. This stinks. Forfeit's better on surface. I definitely agree with that. You can still get like a really good build. You can get a really good build going on surface in Ephira, even with forfeit. It is a lot harder in the underworld. It does ruin your god keepsake because you're not guaranteed to get your god without rerolls in room 3 after onioning, which sucks. You go -4 boons. Sea Star stonks. Gosh darn it. But yeah. This one's pretty difficult just from a build standpoint. You lose 4 boons, which feels like a lot. And the fact that it's at the start of every region sucks, because you just get like less and less power spikes at the start of the region where the enemies get more difficult. You have to eat through your onion to get into your actual boons. Not as bad on whim, I agree with that. Artificer does help a lot. This is true, this is true. I would keep this off here for a bit yet. It's once again not as hard as Scars, Hordes, and Pain, but it's also not very fun.
I swear it, Nix.
And it does make high fear climbing more difficult, because you're just gonna have less damage, less survivability, less boons. Timer. I think Timer 2 is pretty free. Timer 3 gets super difficult. Eventually you want to make that leap, but if you're getting pressured on Timer 2, you probably don't want to try Timer 3 until you're pretty comfortable on Timer 2. It's another really strong training wheels vow, because you do need to learn how to pick up the pace to play around Timer 3, so that you're not constantly timing out under it. Gotta learn what rooms to take to pause your timer, how to go fast, how to play faster but also safer. Rivals plays a big part in timer, that is true, I agree with that. But it's a super important vow. It is, I think, like Timer 2, super easy, incredibly free fear. 3, almost free fear. Timer 2, especially in a vacuum. But Timer 3 is difficult. Timer 3 in a vacuum is difficult, but it's not nearly as difficult as when you start compounding things like Grit and Wards and Return and Menace and Hordes. That will all directly impact how fast you can clear. That's when Timer 3 gets really difficult. Same with Rivals. Rivals, Hordes, Menace, Grit, Wards, Return, Forfeit, Timer 3, Debt. Then you're really pushing it. Because you've lost so much. You've added so much to the enemies and the bosses that Timer 3 is going to feel really hard. But yeah, you also need to know correct pathing at that point. But Timer 2 is pretty chill. I would sit on Timer 2 for a while until you feel like you can step it up. Kind of the same as Scars 2. Void. Void's also pretty chill for a while. But the first one is like 1 fear and you go down to 60% of your grasp, which is insane. 40% for another is not too bad. 20% for another seems like a lot, but you just play Judgment with a couple starting cards. Void cringe, I agree. And then you're fine. Losing all of your cards so you don't get the Judgment start, bad. Void is stinky. Overall, I've found some people enjoy playing Judgment runs a lot to the point where they play Void 3. And if you're gonna play Void, I think you should just play Void 3 to get the most out of the fear, and you can still just play Judgment. But if you're not gonna play Void, and I wouldn't recommend ever playing Void until very late, like quite literally some of your last fear. If you are gonna play it, just go 3 and play Judgment. But just don't play it, is my recommendation. Super hard vow, losing grasp sucks. Judgment early games are still bad, and you're just leaving things up to the RNG gods, which will bend you over. Just don't use it. Really difficult.
Can a robot write a symphony? Can a robot turn a canvas into a beautiful masterpiece?
Can you?
Void 3 Judgment can be fun. Yeah. No, it's definitely not meta. It's not good. It's a different way to play the game for sure. It's a fun challenge when you do Judgment runs. Besides that, just keep it off. Earburst is easy. You just prime a bit of magic. You have to be a little careful if you take things like Trusty Shield, Static Shock, a ton of rarity, and you're playing a magic aspect. But you just think about clicking more max magic. You have Centaur. You can take Hecuba. And you can even click Silver Wheel to Keepsake to give yourself more magic to combat that. Super duper free fear. One of the freest. One of the easiest even. Turn it on crazy early. Ultra easy fear. No problems whatsoever. Aspect dependent. Even if you're playing a magic aspect, I mean, you just have so many options. Medea's Boon, Trace of Spirit. Yep. There's just so many options to get max magic. It really shouldn't be a problem. If you're playing a magic aspect and turning on hubris and you're constantly priming out, like you're just clicking killing stroke, trusty shield, static shock, never clicking a magic up, not taking Hecuba, not clicking silver wheel, that is on you. That is on you. I mean, it's only restricted if you're not magic, or if you're not managing your magic properly, like truthfully. Which, like, I do. Don't get me wrong. There's times where hubris primes enough magic to where I'm annoyed about it, but it's also my fault for just, like, clicking all the magic options and taking Gale and not Hecuba and not clicking silver wheel and not focusing on magic. It's actually super free.
This I vow.
Prefer enemy buffs to self nerfs. I agree with that philosophy as well. Which is why I hate Void. I would rather turn on all of this before I turn on Void. Jeweled Palm does make it easier to swallow. Most weapons really don't need magic. This is also true. That is why Hubris is super duper free. Not taking Gale makes high fear runs harder. I mean, yeah, but if you're going to play a magic aspect, you're going to turn on Hubris and you're going to click everything under the sun that primes your magic. You have to compromise somewhere. That's the game. That's the game. You shouldn't even need Gale still. Pia Ray, Killing Stroke, Trusty Shield, Static Shock, Snow Queen, High Surf, Born Gay. Yeah, literally, like, it shouldn't be that hard. You cannot take Hecuba. There's a keepsake that just gives you 100 magic. You have Centaur to give you magic over time and Persistence to give you more starting magic as well. So you start at 90. Every 5 locations you gain 5. There's magic ups. There's Artificer for magic ups. There's Traces of Spirit. Very easy to manage your magic under Hubris.
That fear may spread.
Should not be a problem. Good, easy vow. 12 out of 10. Denial. You can check in the codex now to see your denial boons, which is huge. We used to have the paper and pen meta, where you would just have to know, which sucks. But now with that change, I think it's super easy. Not very fun, especially on Jeweled Palm / Fate's Whim stuff, because you don't have rerolls to manage what you're denialing. Really free fear for the most part. You're going to lose some options here and there. Life goes on. It shouldn't make or break your run. Rerolls definitely help to keep some in, but 2 free fear essentially. You just have to give up a boon here or there and pick one or the other, you know? And the only times where you're like, oh, I really wish I could have had both, you still have a really strong boon on your screen, so it's not the biggest deal. I would probably just run this for 32 fear. What would we take off, though? What's the 2 fear we drop? What are we thinking? I mean, if you really hate Denial, if you really hate Hubris, if you really hate Debt, if you really hate 1 level of Menace, if you really hate Revenants, that's an option. Or if you really hate Wards, that's an option. Choose your adventure, pick one of those, probably. Forfeit with Whims, Denial with rerolls. I would still take Denial over Forfeit any day of the week on Fate's Whim, in my opinion. But I can see the vision. Yeah, Denial can actually help. Like, if you're on Ares and you want Ares attack plus Grievous Wounds, he has so many other boons that if you're on Denial and you click attack and delete 2, there's a way better chance you actually see Grievous in your next menu. That is bad. It's a little annoying.
I swear it, Nyx.
Kind of curious how Ares plays with Denial now. Ares with Denial, I think, is good. I mean, it just depends what you're looking for on High Fear too, right? Like, if you play attack, you're just really doing a Grievous engine. Maybe Profuse 3. If you're looking for attack, Sword Ring, Grizzly, Profuse, Grievous, I guess you could have an issue. Zeus suffers from Denial. Zeus can definitely suck because of Denial. But even still, like, I'm Zeus, right? Or I'm going for Zeus. I'm clicking Storm Ring. I might delete 2 Blitz effects. That happens. But you still got Storm Ring. And then, say your next menu is like Double Strike Static Shock. You're deleting Static Shock. You're still coming out with Storm Ring Double Strike. Sure, you lost some good boons like a Blitz effect and Static Shock. You still have Storm Ring Double Strike. Or vice versa. You lose Storm Ring Double Strike, you take Zeus special Static Shock. It's not like you're in a bad position. I'm Zeus, dude. I'm literally Zeus. I'm Zeus. Saucer, edit me in as Zeus. Right now. Out of all the things here, I'd take off wards personally. Wards are lame. Is this not just my 32 fear setup? I think I do like this sometimes. No, I lied. Maybe I do this. I don't know. What am I cooking? The Vow of Rivals. This vow is awesome. It's pretty difficult. It's a lot of fear. Like, so much fear. 32 to 44. The first 3 are relatively easy. Yippee Rivals. It is the best vow. Rivals is its own video. It's definitely not. Rivals cool and pog. Agreed. That's the thing. 3 levels of Rivals nets you 8 fear. The last one is another 4. 32 to 44 is 12 fear, which is absolutely crazy. Insanity, actually. Rival Sirens is hard. Typhon is hard. Kronos is hard. Heroes is hard. That's about it. All the Rivals fights are so much better than the base boss fights. Rivals just feels like you're playing the actual video game. If you want to have fun, you should play Max Rivals. If you want to climb fear, you need to learn the Rivals fights. It's a ton of free fear. They are awesome. I will say the difference between Rivals 3 and Rivals 4 is astronomical because both Typhon and Kronos will probably be your choke points for a while. They are incredibly difficult bosses. Prometheus and Heracles is a huge step up from just Prometheus. Scylla and the Sirens is a huge step up from the base Sirens fight. Rivals 1 is actually just 2 free fear. Unironically, incredibly free. Overall, I definitely think Rivals is a core vow and also a great training wheels vow. But also super difficult to learn, but also super rewarding. Also, I have guides showing you how to fight the bosses. Huge, dude. Let's go. Go watch them. Go watch them. All right, that's how I feel about it. Yeah, that's the other thing is like you can just learn how to fight the cool, fun, hard bosses, and then you get to turn a bunch of other stuff off depending on how much fear you want to use, which rules. That also rules. Typhon is not that hard. Okay. Typhon Frenzy, or Typhon Phase 4 is literally the most difficult boss phase in the game, especially on high fear when you add Frenzy and Grit.
Can't vow any harder.
It is just like pure insanity. You have tentacles spawning out of the ground, you have Kronos rushing you down, you have to do a Babality phase after taking 1,000,000 damage, and you have Typhon doing double patterns on everything. With like 1,000,000,000 damage. Alright, is there anything else we need to talk about? Do we want like fear presets for, I don't know, 8, 16, 24, 32, or are we good? Okay, I'll just do it based on like how easy I think they are. Alright, free fear. The freest fear. You want to climb fear? It's so free. What's free? What's absolutely free? Hubris. Hubris is so free. Timer 2 is also free in a nutshell. I need some agrees, some yays or nays. I think you can just step right up to Timer 2. Timer 2 and Timer 1, especially if you don't have anything else on, is just like so easy. It's so easy. Hubris, you're just priming some magic. Get used to it. Get used to it. This is hard. This is hard. Hard disagree on Hubris. You're bugging. How are you priming out so much magic? Please, just like click a magic upgrade. Please. Please, just click max magic. Click the silver wheel, dude. Please. Fangs 1. Fangs is pretty free. I would honestly say Fangs 2 is pretty easy. I know a guy whose PB is 30 minutes, so Timer 2 could end him. Tell him to use his cursor? No. His movement stick? His left stick? Tell bro to go to the next room. That is freer than Fangs. Hubris is not on the same level as the other 2 fear vows. How much easier does it get than priming a bit of magic? What do you want? Okay, time 1. You know what? Chat picks easy fear. Because I am biased and stupid. Here's what we'll do. Alright, time 1. We all agree, yes? No time 2, apparently. Cool. Hubris? Are we happy with 2 hubris? 1 hubris? Are we just like bugging? Time 2. Put that time 2 on. Thank you, Raichi. Thank you. Oh, somebody. If you can't play time 2, you aren't climbing fear. I kind of agree with that, but we are also at the very beginning. I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance. What else? Okay, what next? What's next? Shadow? Time is literally the easiest foul. I agree. But like the 3 people saying this are also probably the 3 sweatiest in chat. Rivals 2, Menace 1, Time 2, Grit 3, Menace 2, Return Fang Shadow. I do kind of like this setup. Get that Denial back on. Okay, Denial is actually free fear. I'm with Raji on this one. Denial, agreed. Denial. You just lose a boon or 2. You have rerolls probably. Even if you don't, it's fine. If you're clicking, like if you have 2 good options, you're just clicking the better option. Denial's so free. It's so easy. Just stop buying the boon bag. I can't. I love my boon bags. Denial sucks if you're aiming for builds. I mean, you still get the build. You just miss a boon here and there. You don't get every single boon. We're climbing fear. Settle. You have to settle. You guys want perfection. You want all your magic. You want all your boons. You want a 72-minute timer. You want the bosses to just come into the room with 1 HP. It's the challenge mode. You need a challenge. You're here to be challenged. This is fun, actually, but I'm tilted. 0 fear or nothing. The thing is with Hubris, I sometimes have a build that costs over 100 magic per Omega. Stop! You don't need to take Weed Killer, Cut Above, Fine Lines, Ocean Swell, and if you do, like, make sure you have the magic capacity. It's not my fault. That's what Hecuba's for, Silver Wheel, Max Magic, Traces of Spirit. Like, what are you doing? Why are you clicking all that? What? You have exceptional talent, Weed Killer, Ocean Swell, Fine Lines, Cut Above. Like, brother, just don't take them all. You don't need it all. Like, what are we doing? It's actually hitting the speedrun prime out. And then, yeah, like, just take a magic regen that's not Born Gain. Please. What? Oh, is that Shiva in chat? Oh, dude. It's funny. I mean, yeah, it is. But, like, if you're climbing fear, you just have to turn the brain on just a tad bit. I do appreciate the 100 magic per Omega hustle. Oh, holy moly. Alright, what are we turning on next? Let's move on. I'm giving up on the hubris argument. It's staying on. Deal with it. I'll deal with it. Thank you. Finally, someone learned that there's a pet that gives you max magic. Holy moly. Max pain is so free. Just don't get hit. This actually feels like the hubris argument all over again. Menace. Okay, I'm down with Menace. 2 levels, 1 level. 2 levels of Menace. 2 levels of Menace. Full Menace. Shadow. 2 levels. Thank you. Okay. Menace 2 Shadow. I like this. Return is easy. Yeah, apparently everyone hates Revenants. Scar should be soon. 1 or 2. Fangs. Fang 1. Okay. Fang 1, not Fang 2? Not Fang 2? The Boated Community Fear Board. This is gonna go crazy. 2 or 1? Fangs 2 or Fangs 1? Where'd timer go? It's still here. I just got yelled at for putting on timer 2 because the John controller apparently can't get through rooms in under 30 minutes. 2. Time 3 is alright. Finally, someone's on my side. Timer 3. F 'em, says Omen. I'm not gonna allow that, but it's really funny. Put on time 2. Time 2 here? Is this where we go time 2? Okay, time 2. Everyone's yelling at me to put on time 2. Holy moly. Max Void anyone. Ban that guy. Ban him immediately. Fangs 1 return, Fang 2. Alright, you're kind of cooking, but like we're doing too much. We're doing too much. Rivals 4. Rivals 1 through 3 next. Okay, we got 2 Rivals 3s. Is it time for... I think it's too early for Rivals 3. I think we have like so much more sauce we can turn on. Alright, we gotta lock in. We're just spamming. This is not anarchy mode. We're a democracy here. We're a democracy. We need to agree. Return. Any returners? Who's up with who's returning? Who up returning their vow right now? Pain 1, you're bugging. That's insane. That's insane. It's dead o'clock. It is kind of, guys, listen. We're talking about free fear here, and we just haven't turned on the things that are a bit more expensive vow.
By will of night.
I'm sorry, but Raji kind of wins here. Like, this is actually just, it probably should have came earlier. This all falls into the category of free fear, right? Like, denial does nothing, hubris is fake, shadow isn't even real, fangs will do nothing until it tries to kill you in one room, and then you just heal from it. Timer doesn't exist until it's timer 3. Debt, you go -1 boon. You guys are actually just so greedy. You literally lose like a boon across a run. Boon bag every shop, please. These are all so free. Menace might be the hardest vow on this list, in my opinion.
Can't vow any harder.
I'm sorry, I'm overruling you all, and we're going dead. If hordes are off, wards 2 gotta go on. Yeah, like low key. Wards 2. I'm with wards 2. Return people might hate. Forfeit sucks. Void sucks. Rival sucks. People screamed at me for timer 3. Scars is pretty easy. No. Yeah, it's wards. It's wards. It's just wards here. It's actually just double wards here. Wards and scars. How do we feel about this? Did I cook? Have I done it? Have I locked in? Wards equals free healing. So true. Why is why is every new player playing Nergal in your eyes? It's a hidden. It's literally a hidden. Well, I thought you were the Morrigan person. You're just Nergal pilled now. What happened? Wards is weapon dependent. That's kind of true. That's kind of true. Okay. Scars, easy. Scars 1. Wards off. Okay, return.
That fear may spread.
Just click the revenants, guys. Pick them up. Pick them up. Can I do Scars 2 now? No. Yes. Scars 2. Scars 2. Why did we turn wards and Scars 2 off? Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's Scars 2 and wards. Bang. That's 25 free fear if you squint. If you squint, this is 25 free fear. Scars 2 is fine. Wards is fine. They're both fine. This is all fine. This is so fine. Scars 2 before Frenzy 1. Horde 1? No. Pain? No. Grit? No. I think it is time for, like, Frenzy, though. Frenzy? Frenzy Gaming? I don't even care anymore. I'm just invested in what chat thinks. Okay, a lot of people are saying Rivals first. Rivals 1, Frenzy 1? Agreed? Frenzy 1 is not real. Never learn it. I kind of do agree. Like, you could just go all in. Yeah, I'm kind of full Frenzy. Yeah, okay. So Rivals 1? We're cool with Rivals 1. Chat, scream at me when we go Frenzy 2. What's next? Rivals 3, Rivals 2. Ah. I guess that means Frenzy 2. Why is Grit? Oh, Grit. Grit. I'm screaming. Grit. We got to do Grit. We haven't done Grit. Why did we forget about Grit? It's Grit time.
For the realm.
We're not going back. If you turn the vow on, it stays on. Wards off. Okay, return. What kind of sicko turns one vow on and then turns another off? That's insane. Get help. Hordes is not easier than Grit. Yeah, whoever said that, ban them immediately. Rivals before Grit. There's no way. There's no way we're doing Rivals bosses before Grit. Turn off Hordes. There's no turning off. You have locked yourself in. Yeah, they're bad with it, but that doesn't mean you turn it off. Frenzy 2. Timer 3. Hecate Frenzy 2. Surely we turn on Frenzy now. Okay, there.
Fear may spread.
Look, you guys are picking the fear list here. How can you say it's bad? You made the sandwich. You made the sandwich. How can you hate Subway? This is your Subway sandwich, not mine. Both Frenzy at the same time is crazy. If you play Frenzy 1, leave. Leave the chat immediately. Go. It really is nothing or everything. Who does this? This shouldn't even be an option. Amir, take it out of the game.
By my birthright.
Bye. Bye. No, please come back. My bread is stale. Alright, thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It really does help me out a lot. And if you want to keep up with more of my content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks again for watching. Okay, bye. And a massive thank you to my members for supporting the channel. Korea Dragomir, Avocado Anna, Gayud, Mice Jr., Shag, Daddy, Zerwa, UA Tech, Ticolo, Becca, Hideki, Saint Naive, Siver to the Re, Parolini, Paul Hobbs, Inkawu, Fish and a Boo Boo, Quibs, Andrew, Mininet, Santis, Verbacitus, Colorado, Narcana, Pipsqueak, Denisar, and Aber Kuroglu.